Hi, friends, and let me be the first person to welcome you to Annandale High School. I'm Mr. Vitelli, and I'm one of the counselors at Annandale, and I am going to present to you today to give you some information about high school, about picking classes for high school, and a lot of other information leading you all the way up to graduation. So let's get started. Once again, welcome, Annandale High School, class of 2025. You think of yourselves right now as 8th graders, but we consider you rising 9th graders. That makes you the class of 2025. We're looking all the way to the end today, but the primary goal for us is to talk about registration for classes for next year, for your freshman year. So here's what we're going to go over today. Some talk about graduation, what are the requirements to graduate, and keeping that as the goal, providing you information about classes you're going to be able to take and how you're going to make those choices and pick those classes. And then just some information about the difference between middle school and high school to get you mentally prepared for that big transition that we're looking forward to you making. Annandale High School, Adam Pride, you're going to be one of us. And this is what we're heading towards, is graduation. So why is it a big deal? Well, that's the whole goal for all of your schooling, to get you to graduation, to prepare you to be able to go to college, to prepare you to go out into the world and get trained in a career that you love and find success in. And that may all seem pretty far down the road right now, but it's not. It's all coming, and things that you're going to be doing even now, starting next year, will be influencing that and preparing you for it. So let's talk about graduation. What needs to happen for you to graduate? We talk about this now because the things you do even as a freshman are going to add up and they count towards graduation. The requirements depend on the diploma type you have. I'm not going to go into too much detail into all of what that means right now, but we have different requirements for the different diploma types. There's what you need to graduate from high school, and then there's the advanced diploma, which is the standard that is set up to prepare students for applications to college and what colleges expect from you. There's also, because we're in IB school, that's the International Baccalaureate, and that's a different standard with IB classes that's even higher than the advanced diploma. And again, I'm not going to give you all the details of all of that right now, but just so you know that for all of those classes, there's requirements that you must take. You must pass certain SOLs. Everybody needs to pass an SOL in each of the main core subjects: social studies, math, science, and 2 in English. Everybody will need to take 4 years of English classes to graduate. Depending on your diploma type, you will take either 3 or 4 years of social studies, math, and science. Everybody will have to take 2 years of health and PE. Everybody will have to take economics and personal finance, or the IB business class as an equivalent. There's certain elective requirements, and then if you're going to be doing the advanced diploma, there is a world language requirement. Now, like I said, I'm not going to give you all the details, but it's all available on the website. Your counselor can share with you this link if you want to go into more of the details with that. Okay, so let's talk about course selection. How do you pick your classes for next year? We're going to give you a lot of information today, and then there's going to be more research you can do. Talk to your counselor, talk to your teachers. When you actually go to pick the classes, that's going to be done online. There's going to be a form that you'll fill out with your counselor to select amongst the classes that you can take. But the real work is to actually figure out which classes are the right ones for you. So, some of the information you're going to have. We'll have an online course catalog that's available through the Annandale website. We're going to have videos that you can watch through Flipgrid of teachers describing their classes, so you can get a little bit more information so you know about what those classes are like. And then if you're seeing this in time, there's going to be a virtual 8th grade curriculum night. That's for rising 9th graders and their parents to hear directly from the teachers and the departments about what the classes are that they'll have. That is going to be Thursday, January 14th at 7 p.m. and it's going to be virtual. So check with your counselors or your school announcements for the link. Okay, so a great place to start your search for information about classes is to the course catalog online. We have all of the courses available for you to look up with full descriptions. There's also going to be on that same webpage some videos, Flipgrid videos from teachers describing different elective classes. There'll also be a copy of this presentation there. So a lot of information will be in one place. You can find it under Student Services on the Annandale website. Look for Rising 9th Grade course information, or you can scan the QR code below me right now. Okay, so let's look at what a typical 9th grade schedule looks like. This on the right is what a schedule probably looks like for us. Things have been different this year, but generally it's still red and white days. We have our odd and even classes on red and white days. On white days, the W4 class is an advisory period. So you actually have 7 classes to pick from. And that's going to look the same for most people. Everybody will take English, social studies, science, math, and health and PE. That leaves 2 other classes available. Either you're going to take a world language or choose between other electives. Now, there may be some difference to that. We want to make sure everybody is successful in high school. And so if you've had trouble and struggled in one class or could use some extra help or failed an SOL, you may have a support class that replaces one of your electives. That could be an English class, that could be a math class, and that could just be a general studies class that helps you to support the other classes. So that's what the schedule would look like as far as what are the core classes, what are your support classes, and what are going to be your electives. So the choices you have will be between different levels of classes and the different kinds of classes to take. It may seem like a lot to go through, but we're going to break it down for you and make this a little bit easier. Know that along the way, there's always help to be had, and there's always someone that can help you to make those choices. For math and science classes, generally, those classes are going to be determined based on what class you're in right now. So for math, if you're in algebra, you go into geometry next year. If you're in geometry, you go into algebra 2. If you're in math 8, you'll go into algebra, most likely. Science, the same. Will be mostly based on teacher recommendation. Now, for some classes, including world language and math, the teacher might recommend that you take the class again if you struggled or you could use some more foundations in that class. For English and social studies, there's less choice because everybody's going to take English 9 and world history. The choice will be between standards and honors classes. We're going to talk more about that as we go, but when you're considering the choices for the honors or standard class, first start with your teacher recommendation. Talk with your teacher about where they think would be the appropriate placement. Think about your work and study habits. Honors classes require more work, require more homework. Are you ready to do that? Do you have those study habits that you'll need? And then think about how you're doing in the classes right now. Think about the classes you're doing best in. Think about where your strengths are. And then also think about which classes you like the best. You're more likely to want to spend more time doing work for a class that you like and are more engaged with. So, some more information about honors and IB. Honors classes are during 9th and 10th grade years. And then the IB classes are college prep classes that you can take as a junior and senior. And some of the choices you make as a freshman will influence what you'll do later on, so it's worth considering. Honors classes, again, have the more work and more responsibility. Some honors classes will have summer assignments, so be aware of that if you're picking a class, that you may have to do something before school starts in the fall. And then some information about the International Baccalaureate. The things to consider in 9th grade is that there are those math and language prerequisites that you'd have to complete before taking the IB class as a junior. There's also the middle year program, which everybody will participate in, and it's an introduction to the IB system and includes a personal project that you would work on in your English classes. So, as far as, again, planning ahead for what you need to know as a freshman, that the math class and the foreign language class you have could influence what you would be able to take in IB classes as a junior. Okay, now the fun part, the electives. When you're picking electives, we want you to pick classes that are things that you enjoy, things that you're interested in, and potentially something that you may want to do as a career or in college, to give you some information about that going ahead. But mostly, this is your choice. This is where you pick the class that you want to take. Starting with business and information technology, those are computer classes mostly. So information systems and digital applications and computer science foundations are basics of computer classes. Programming gets you into learning how to actually program computers. Cybersecurity fundamentals introduces you to that field, and accounting introduces you to accounting and business. We have marketing classes. As a freshman, you can take Introduction to Marketing, and that's learning about marketing as business communication. And we have other classes you can take if you enjoy that class. Afterwards, 10th and 11th and 12th grade, there's sports and entertainment marketing. There's fashion marketing. There's other things you can learn about in that field. In the performing arts, we have band, orchestra, and chorus as the large group music classes. Guitar is also available to freshmen. There's theater arts and tech theater. Theater arts is performing, doing the theater, and tech theater is the behind the scenes set making, directing, lighting design. And then there's a PE elective, which is sports medicine. That's learning from our school's trainer about what that job entails and some of the basics of sports medicine. There are also electives in English and social studies. So journalism is working for the school newspaper, and that's a class. Creative writing is just what it says. Photojournalism is working on the school yearbook, and that's also a class. Next year, we'll also be introducing African American history as an elective that's available to all grades. Art classes. Studio art and design is the level 1 basic art class, drawing, painting. Photography is just that, taking pictures. Digital art and design is computer graphics and art on the computer, basically. And then ceramics is 3D art. So that's sculpture or anything that involves building and creating stuff. Okay, the trade and industrial education classes. These are the tech classes available. I know my video is blocking it right now, but those include electronics, learning about the basics of electronics, STEM design, which is the introduction class that would lead to the robotics classes you can take later on in high school. And then the Auto Tech 1 class, that's learning about the basics of how cars work and car repair that you can then, again, take on to the higher level classes there. Family and consumer science, the 2 classes you can take are life planning and nutrition and wellness. Those are 2 paired classes that happen in the semesters, but it's a full year of learning about food and life planning. And then Introduction to Culinary Arts is now available to freshmen, and that's the beginning class that teaches you about cooking, and later on, if you continue on, into working in a professional restaurant environment. And then college prep class, AVID. If you're looking for a class that would prepare you for college, that would increase and better prepare you for your study skills and to be in a college class, and then later to actually prepare and help you with college applications, AVID is a great class and it's highly encouraged. If you're interested in that, look into it. Okay, next we have the world languages. So at Annandale, we have 3 classes available, different languages: Arabic, French, and Spanish. You'll start level 1 if you're new to the language. If you've already taken a class, or you may need to have a placement exam, depending on which level class you'll be in. There's also Spanish for fluent speakers. So if your native language is Spanish, you don't need to learn the basics of the language, but you can learn more about Spanish at an advanced level for fluent speakers. Note that if you have a D or lower in a language class you're taking this year, you will need to repeat that class so you have a better foundation in 9th grade. And if you do repeat a class in world language, make sure you have that expunged from your transcript so that your middle school grade does not influence your high school transcript and GPA. So, high school credit in middle school. Just be aware that if you're taking a math or a language class this year, those classes might be on your transcript for next year. Those classes do impact your high school GPA. Right now, as you're hearing me, you still have time to improve your grades. But if you get to the end of the year and you don't have a grade that you want to be on your record, you can have a math or language class removed from your high school transcript, especially if you're going to be repeating that class next year. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so back to picking the classes. Those are what the options are. Now, how do you make the choices? Start with thinking about your current grades, your current work habits, like I've said. Also, think about what commitments you're going to have with your classes next year. Do you have responsibilities outside of school that will impact how much time you have for homework? Do you plan on playing sports or joining some clubs or having a job? If so, you want to make sure that you have enough time in your schedule and you're not trying to do too much. Remember, all of your grades count. We don't want you to overload everybody. We want to be successful taking classes that are challenging for you and then are working towards your strengths, but also not overwhelming you. So who do you talk to make these decisions? Just remember, of course, you're not alone. You don't have to do this all by yourself. Start with your parents. Talk to them about what classes you should be taking and what you want to take. Talk to your current teachers. They can give you a lot of information. They know you and they know how you're doing in your classes this year. And then, of course, talk to your counselors. That means your middle school counselors. They're going to help you through the process of actually picking out the classes. But you can also reach out to your high school counselors. And then you can also reach out to Annandale teachers. Again, if you're seeing this in time, there will be teachers available from different departments to answer questions at our curriculum night for rising 9th graders. That's Thursday, January 14th at 7 p.m. Virtually, of course. Okay, so bottom line, just to sum up, be thoughtful about your choices. Think about your total workload, where you're at, what's going to be the right amount of challenge for you. Remember, once you make these choices, you can change your mind until the end of the school year. You can contact your counselor in the middle school or your high school counselor to change any of those choices. But once you've made those choices at the end of the school year, it might be hard to change anything. So keep that in mind. Once you've made your choices, you will be able to see what you have chosen in your SIS account. So you can log in there and see what classes you have picked. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about high school versus middle school. This is just something we always want to repeat so you know what you're going to be facing in high school next year. It's going to be a lot of fun, and there's a lot more freedom and a lot of great things that you can enjoy there. But the material you're going to cover is going to go a little bit faster. You are going to have to do a little bit more work. So you need to have good study habits, and that's something you can be working on right now to prepare for high school. Teachers expect you to be independent, so you get to have a little bit more freedom, but you also are expected to have some more responsibility for your classes. So ask for help. If you're struggling, the teachers want to know and they want to help you, but they may not be checking in as much as you would right now. Also, attendance matters. If you miss classes, that's impacting your grades, and that's making it hard for you to keep up. So these are things that will be important for you. And then just to add all of the opportunities. It's not all going to be more work. It's also going to be a lot more things that are available to you. There's lots of clubs, sports, activities, events that you can come to at the school when we return next year. A lot to look forward to. I want to repeat, too, that we want you to get involved. Being a part of Annandale is fantastic. It's a wonderful experience. And being in clubs, going to school activities, you can see here, this is one of our pep rallies, some of the goofing around things that they would do. But it's a lot of fun, and it's going to be a better experience for you if you're involved in something, if you're in a club, if you are on a team. That's people to get to know. That helps you stay engaged. Down here is listed the website link. You can find that on the Annandale website, or you can share this presentation with you from your counselors. So a little more about high school versus middle school, just things to know. That when you're in high school, your grades count, and you need to pass a certain number of classes to be able to move on to the next grade. You have to pass 5 classes to go from 9th grade into 10th grade. You have to pass 5 classes to be able to play any of your sports. You're also going to have SOLs that you'll need to pass to graduate. And that can happen throughout high school, but you will have some of those as a freshman. So again, things you do as a freshman will count towards graduation. Okay, so this is the list of all the counselors. I know I'm giving you a lot of information and talk about things that may be more responsibilities for you in high school, but you're always going to have help. You can see my name there. I'm the counselor for alphabet RI to TEM. But this is the list that you can see who your counselor would be. We also have counselors specifically if you're an English language learner, levels 1 or 2, Ms. Benitez and Ms. Alba would be your counselor. That's all. I am super excited for you to join us, to be a part of the Annandale community, to be an Adam, to get to enjoy Adam Pride, be a part of Adam Nation. Follow us on the social medias if you want more information about what's going on. Reach out, ask questions. We're here for you. We're really excited for you to be coming to see us and be at our school next year. Thanks.